Hello everyone, welcome to another video on Indian ethos and management. In this video, we are going to look at the uh, Indian ethos on contemporary workplaces or how Indian ethos views the workplaces, the importance of work culture or cooperation over competition, and how conflicts can be resolved in workplaces through samvad. So the first one is the Indian concept on or the Indian ideology of an ideal workplace. As we have already discussed in the previous video, that Indian philosophy believes in this concept called parivar or the family concept, wherein we have already discussed in one of the previous videos that employer-employee contractual relationship is not prevalent as far as the Indian philosophy is concerned, but rather every people in the organization are considered as part of family. So everyone has a shared responsibility for organization building. So it is not just like the employer and employee contractual relationship, but rather everybody in the organization is working towards attaining the common goal, which is the good of the society through the organization. So, in modern organizations, we can see there are a lot of stress, internal rivalry, disengagement, etc. Whereas Indian philosophy actually offers solutions to all these things by developing harmony, mutual respect, and collective well being. So, that is what I meant when I said the good of the society through the organization. So, that is what is Indian philosophical thought as far as organizations are concerned. Organizations exist not as mere profit-making entities, but as as an entity which also gives back to the society because it believes that it is part of the society. So when Indian values are applied to modern business practices, organizations become more humane, inclusive, and sustainable. The Indian concept of work culture is basically based on two philosophies called Loka Sangraha, which means welfare of all, and another concept called Parasparopagraho Jivana, which means mutual dependence. So, which is very important. We have already discussed that an organization cannot exist in isolation in a society. We have to depend on other people or other aspects of the society for its existence. So that is what is meant by dependence, mutual dependence. So naturally, we have already discussed that since you are mutually dependent, you have to give back to the society. That is called as welfare of all. So these two concepts are very important. Loka Sangraha and Parasparopagraho Jivana are the two basic concepts on which actually builds the work culture of an organization according to the Indian philosophy. So external internal competition it normally leads to mistrust, as we see in today's organizations. It leads to mistrust, then fear, unhealthy practices, and a lot of pressure amongst employees and all that, right? But if there is cooperation or if people in the organization are dependent on each other or they cooperate with each other, naturally it leads to harmony, building helps in building trust, helps in sharing knowledge, and there will definitely be a collective responsibility within all the between all the members of the organization, which all ultimately leads to higher productivity and getting the results or I mean for the which leads to the organization's harmony and growth, right? So the message here is that, or the key concept here is that cooperation strengthens the organization's unity and performance. So we already know the importance of teamwork or benefits of having a cooperative work culture, wherein people instead of competing with each other, collaborate with each other, which normally gives a very safe and congenial work environment. People develop a sense of belonging towards the organization. This definitely improves the employee morale, leading to better engagement, which will foster innovation and growth of the organization. So the teams become more adaptable even during challenging situations. So the Indian ethos specifically emphasizes on collective success rather than individual achievement on at the expense of others. right? So the core concept here is shared success leads to sustainable growth. Now, let us look at the idea of conflict uh, according to the Indian philosophy. So, the Indian philosophy recognizes that conflict is a natural outcome or a natural phenomenon when or where there is human interaction, which we all know, because it is not necessary that everybody in the organization, all the employees in the organization will have a very congenial or a very harmonious relationship with each other. uh, no, we have our own ideas, concepts, whereas it is not necessary that we have to accept the ideas or ideologies or concepts of other person. So naturally, in such situations, there can be conflict, right? So the Indian philosophy identifies that there can be conflict in an organization, but it also lays down that conflicts should be resolved instead of escalating through punitive measures or through legal means. Rather, it should be resolved through open dialogues, through open discussions. So this will help in building trust and morale. Also, the organizational culture, wherein people have an open mind to listen to others. So, Indian ethos encourages empathy and understanding uh, for solving problems through open dialogues and discussions. So this concept, this idea is laid out in this concept called samvad. We have heard of samvad or vad samvad, which refers to respectful and open dialogue, which is aimed at mutual understanding. So this concept explains that instead of using force in order to solve a problem, you should have a broad and open mindedness to listen to others. So normally what happens in case of a conflict or when there is an issue between two people, you most of the time what happens, both parties are not ready to listen to the other person's views or other person's ideologies. You are only stuck to your own concept or I mean trying to emphasize that you are right. But the Indian concept of samvad says that you should have an open mind to listen to what the other person has to say. In such situations, that it can easily resolve the conflict through better understanding and empathizing with the others. So it involves listening to all the parties, acknowledging emotions and seeking fair solutions. You might have seen in most situations, even in our diplomatic relations, that is the kind of attitude that we maintain as a country. Instead of resorting to force or instead of resorting to aggressive means of solving problems, we often tend to use this method of dialogue, open dialogues and discussions in order to solve any problem. So the key take home here is dialogue resolves conflict more effectively than punishment, because it also helps in building relationships and long term, not only building relationships but long term relationships rather. So now let us look at the key takeaways for managers from this concept. So here managers, the Indian philosophy says that managers play a vital role in fostering cooperation and resolving conflicts through open dialogue. So they have a major role in balancing performance with harmony, uh, leading to ethical and sustainable organizational success. So managers should act not only as culture builders but also as peacemakers. So with that, we have come to an end of another video. I hope the concepts that is discussed in this video is clear to you. We'll see you in another video with more interesting concepts like this. Thank you.